Okay, good evening, everybody. Duncan Black, and I'm being chairman this evening due to the regular chairman being away and unable to be here. So this is the Town of Amherst Design Advisory Board meeting of August 28th. And would please take a roll call.
Duncan Black. Marissa Colucci.
Here.
Tracy Conheiser-Rui.
Here.
Jonathan O'Rourke is absent. Pete Talty.
Here. Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda, well, I should really explain to everybody that reminder that the door behind us is not an exit, and that if there is an emergency reason to leave the room or the building, use either of these two exits over here. Also, reminder that this is a public hearing. So with that,
Excuse me,
I'd like to
Duncan,
have the
it's not a public hearing. I thought I heard you say it's a public hearing. It's a public meeting. It's not a public hearing.
I'm sorry, yeah. Thank you, Gary. I keep getting the two confused, which I'm doing tonight. Call for the approval of the minutes of the May 28th, 2025 meeting. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Carries. We're now going to do the first design review application. This is for a proposed two-story commercial building located at 4548 and 4564 Main Street and through Hoff Avenue. The petitioner is Benderson Development, and we'll let you present how this has changed from our last meeting.
I'm going to walk through it. My name is James Baglioli. I'm an attorney for Benderson Development. With me, I have Joe Marinaccio. He's our Director of Architecture. He's going to basically walk through it. I'll give a little intro. Can you go to the next slide, Gary? I know the board's familiar with this site. It's off of Main Street. We have Frohoff and Chateau Terrace. It's bounded on all three sides. It was developed previously with 13,000 square feet of commercial building that have been demolished. The planning board and this board did give approval for a prior project on this. It was a 65,000 square foot building. It had a two-level parking garage, 7,000 square feet of retail and 48 apartments. We have changed course on that. And next slide, please. Next slide. And now what we're building is a 13,000 square foot building. A little shy of that is 12,285 square feet, but pretty much mirrors with the other building that was there. We are maintaining the two-level parking garage this board previously recommended on and was part of the prior approval, so the building sits on the parking garage. As far as the site goes, we have all our pedestrian amenities all along the site. We maintain a continuous sidewalk on both sides. We have a driveway on Chateau Terrace that goes to the top level of the parking garage, and we have a driveway on Frohoff, which goes to the bottom level of the parking garage. It is a two-story building, but only one functional story. So I know there's some confusion on that. There's going to be one retail tenant. It's one functional story. So even though it's built to a two-story look, we're not occupying the second floor in any way. There's no second floor as part of the building. I'll turn it over to Joe to walk through the comments we got. We did have 3 slight changes with this in the packet you have, and they were a result of town comments. We did show a stairwell back here. That was removed, and the stairwell was put internal to the parking garage. All right, it's not a big change. As part of that, a door was removed off the back there. That was also put internal to the parking garage. And then finally, the only other change we made as a result of town comments is that we changed the wall fixtures around the building to code compliant dark sky fixtures. They were not dark sky compliant. Virtually the same fixture, but they have a dark sky compliant feature. Besides that, the plans you're seeing now are consistent with the plans you reviewed and we got the comments on. So I'm going to turn it over to Joe.
Good evening. My name is Joe Marinaccio, architect with Benderson Development. And I'm going to walk you through the comments we received to the building. And I'll start with the first one. The first comment was the building materials for the in regards to the parking deck. They weren't very clear. Next slide. Can we go to the next slide, please? Can't really see on this one, but I'll give you a brief explanation on the parking deck. The walls of the parking deck are going to be constructed with poured concrete, but within that poured concrete will be form liners to represent a rock face texture along the entire face of the parking ramp itself. And that parking ramp wall, the parking ramp walls will be painted. Above the parking ramp walls will be a wrought iron railing. Can we go to the next slide, please? We skip a couple slides and get to I'll tell you when to stop. Right there. So as you can see, this will be a form liner within the forms of the concrete panel itself, which gives you the texture and the embossing of the concrete itself. And again, it'll be painted beige tone to represent a natural stone product. And above will be the wrought iron railing. That was in response to the first comment. The second comment was in response to additional information was requested but not received for the specified depth of the facade itself. Can we go back 2 slides, please? There, perfect, thank you. So as you can see, this lower element here projects forward from the above brick texture and brick material. In no way there's recessed panels in here. Verticality and horizontality will be recessed within itself. This element here is proud of the facade along with this and the adjacent element here. So in no way will the facade be flat. Only within certain materials there'll be reliefs horizontally and vertically throughout the entire facade itself. And in that case, we feel we met that comment. The other comment was in regards to the bronze screening that we originally had on the rendering. That was removed due to future tenant requirements. When the future tenant, when we get the future tenant to move in, they'll develop their own internal screening of the glazing from the interior. So that's why we took it out as part of this this time now. The next comment was a secondary entrance on Main Street in Chateau that were not shown. The primary entrance is within this element here. The secondary entrance on Main is along this wall here. As you can see the door. The Chateau entrance at this time, we cannot place an entrance there. So we are meeting the Main Street entrance, but we're not on the Chateau side. So we feel we don't need that door on that side, and the future tenant will not require a door on Chateau side. We do, like I said, have the 2 doors on Main Street. The next comment was review the windows in the parking deck for visual continuity. Can you go to that 3rd slide, please? As you can just see here, oh, that's okay. We do have openings within the parking ramp. We need that for ventilation, but there are metal screens in here that are similar to the muttons on the windows themselves. They're just more of a horizontal design in nature. I believe I have another image, and then you can on the let's see. Oh, you go again. You can see them here. I know it's tough to see. Yeah, keep going through the images. There might be another one. I don't- No, this is the last image. We can speak about this image here. There was a request from the board to give them a rendering from the bottom of the ramp on the residential side, looking towards Main Street. And as you can see, again, here's the parking deck walls. This is the entry on Fruhoff, or the exit, I apologize, to get out on Fruhoff. And the landscaping, which matches the site plan, the landscape site plan. We are intending on adding ivy along that wall so that there's not this massive concrete that is just sticking up out of the ground. We want this to be broken up with the ivy and landscaping as well. The next comment, sorry. The next comment is in regards to the dormers themselves. If you can go back 3 slides up, right there, that's perfect. Was to the dormer that it originally stopped here. We did extend it and connect into the main roof, into the main mansard roof, so that satisfies that comment. The next comment was in regards to the decorative fencing that was on the upper portion of the roof. It is correct, we did remove that ornamental fencing that was up here. We felt it was too much to the building. We have the Juliet railings here, so we felt adding it up here was too much, so we removed it. That was in response to that comment there. The next comment was, while the elevations now show ramp walls, the punched openings do not appear to be shown screened. Again, they are screened in with metal and to mimic the muttons and the mullions of the glazing themselves. And they're on both sides of the ramp. The final comment to address was, please indicate where on the rooftop mechanical equipment is anticipated and will be in its visual profile. The RTUs will be on the main roof itself, and they are blocked by the mansard roof. This mansard roof is approximately 7 feet in height, curved mansard roof. So you will not, from this perspective, you will not see the RTUs themselves, including not even from the residential side. And I do have, there was a couple last comments. The one comment being in regards to the material here. It was discussed, we plan on using AZAC trim, and I do have a sample of the material here, so this will be painted. The reason why we're using the AZAC trim is it's being close to it'll be adjacent to the sidewalk, obviously with our winters here. We want a durable material, and we feel that this material here, the AZAC, although PVC, will be a durable material and last, and then we are asking for a waiver on this material to be used on the project. And I can pass this around when at the end of the presentation. The last comment was appears that the guidelines generally appear to have been met with regards to the building, and although the parking deck walls materials are not explicitly stated and cannot be evaluated, it's also not clear what materials are proposed for the sides of the square dormers above the main entrances. So I'll go through the materials in here. This will be a GFRC, which is a fiberglass reinforced panel along these 3 elements here at the base. On the top here, which there was discussion about this before, we did break up the glazing with some wider frames. We did keep the color consistent with what we had on a previous presentation, because we feel that although removing this would take away from the look of the building, we feel that the differentiation in color helps establish prominence with this element here. We did run some simulations with the same color as here, and it just did not look good. So therefore, we kept with the same color as the base material, and we feel that this stands out. Now, this material here, again, will be an AZAC trim, similar to this product here, and will be painted the same color. I believe that was all the comments that we needed to address for this meeting. Do you have any questions?
Okay, thank you very much. Reverse the order. Peter, would you like to comment at this point?
Couple of questions, just related to what you had just brought up. You were talking about a screen that was removed and
Right,
that
there-
future tenants might be putting back in. I don't,
Right. In a previous rendering, it might have been 2 renderings ago, there was a screen behind the glazing. There was we proposed a bronze screening behind the lower glazing and upper glazing. We removed those for now. We're just going to let the tenant, although it's behind the glazing, we're going to approve something similar to what we originally had. It doesn't affect the exterior look of the building. It only affects the interior. The interior.
okay. And you had brought up the AZAC trim around,
Right here.
what is is it trim just around the windows, or is that entire thing AZAC panels? What's the extent of
This
that?
this will be all AZAC panels and trimmed out in AZAC.
Okay,
This product here.
okay,
So everything in the darker color, the brown,
okay,
is all AZAC.
okay. In your notes that I was reading through there, you had mentioned that there was no requirement that the public amenities be available to the public? I'll get the verbiage if you're,
I don't recall.
Public amenities.
Mhm.
There you go.
Yep.
We added public amenities on the site plan across the front, including benches, bike racks, and such. Those are all available to the public. We have an internal sitting area that's not available to the public. That's for our internal tenants.
okay.
We did it, there was, in that original comment was talking about the internal area to the site. That's not connected. But around the exterior of the site, we added benches, seating areas. You can see them on the site. They're also on the site plan. We added the bike racks. So we do have public amenities. We had 2 types of amenities, some that were internal, some that are external. So that comment is the ones that are internal to the parking garage. Those are not the public amenities.
Okay. Okay. I mean, there is a requirement for public
Yep, and we
amenities.
did meet, and we did provide those.
Okay. There was, is this a time to comment on the public's comments, or do we want to come back to that? Let me read these.
Well,
Okay, go ahead.
I think, Dan, do you want to say? It's up to you. Just let him go ahead. You have comments?
Okay, overwhelmingly, we had comments from people in the neighborhood, and anytime somebody takes the time to write something handwritten, there's probably 100 more people that agree with that person that have, so, you know, we've got half a dozen comments here, and overwhelmingly, they're very concerned about, can we get a view of the back of the building? Can we get to?
Yes.
Yes. Can we see the side of the building that shows the sidewalk that's visible from the street? That. The neighbors are very concerned about that being what's backing up to their property.
I will note to start out with, this board already approved that once before. So this has not changed from the original project. We do have- we
Since
do
the last time we talked to you, we received comments from the neighborhood, and it doesn't mean that we can dismiss them just because
I'm not
there was a
dismissing
prior
them.
approval
I'm
in
not
place for a
dismissing
different
them.
building.
We had the same, we have had those comments. There's a significant landscape plan between the abutting residential property.
Okay.
It's not, we're not even backed out. If you can go to the next slide, please. Next slide. It's the last slide in the group. So we did, the landscaping starts where those row of trees are, so that's where the next residential property is. There is a landscape buffer, there is a 30-foot green area, then there is ivy we're planting on the buildings, and it really decreases the scale of the building. So, and that is not a flat concrete wall. We gave that texture and painted an earth tone color. So that's been consistent. We do significantly landscape that area. So in between the row of landscaping, there is a stormwater depression. It's not filled with water. It's it's grass. And then we continued the landscaping along the back wall, which is how we address that. So you don't get the full picture. When you go back to the site plan, which is the first slide, first colored site plan, you can see the row of landscaping. This is the house. This is the row of landscaping. This is the 30-foot buffer. This is where the parking garage starts, and then we re-landscape the back of the garage. And there's a fence that runs back here, and there's the wrought iron fence that runs this way. So we do screen that significantly.
The neighbors are concerned about it.
Yep.
One thing, that, in addition to it being a brick wall or a wall facing them, a concrete wall, their comments were that the neighborhood has a lot of brick within it, and they found that they feel the concrete is offensive to the neighborhood there. It's almost 14 foot tall there, if I'm not mistaken. And it's concrete, and yes.
Excuse me, I'm going to interrupt at this point because we did receive all this information, but this is not a public
Right.
hearing. It's not a hearing, it's just so that technically any of the information that is presented here that came in last week, because there were sheets left out here from, or the last meeting, out here from a previous meeting. We did receive the comments. The comments have been sent on to you. But in reality, they should have gone to the planning board directly, not through this committee. We have a very narrow scope of what our responsibilities are. So I think rather than our reiterating all the information that has already been presented to you, and this is all new to us because it's the first time it's happened to this committee to have public comments given in writing. But I think that you have the information, you should respond to it and be prepared at the planning board meeting to address the issues of the neighbors. I think some of them are very good comments. I appreciated reading them, can understand them, but in essence, we cannot really, they shouldn't have been on our agenda tonight. And this is something that just came out. So Peter, you didn't even have a chance to hear that that's a situation that we're up against at this point. So
Can we recommend for the inclusion of brick instead of just concrete across the back?
you can make recommendations if on the material
Yes.
and save it and do it at the point where we're making
Okay.
recommendations and going through.
And no further comments.
Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry for the confusion that I created here. Okay, Marissa, do you want to make comments at this point?
I don't have any questions or comments right now.
Okay, thank you. Tracy?
I'm good as well, thank you.
I have a couple of questions. That in one of the early renderings you showed, well, your opening comments tonight talked about the fact that it's sounded to me like you were saying you were having a single tenant in this building,
That's correct.
and that they're going to be creating a two-story space for their usage. Has the structure actually been designed so that a second floor could be inserted in the future?
The structure is currently being designed. We have it being designed two ways. One where it's just single story and one where you can accommodate a second story if needed. But that second story will not encompass the full building. It might be just a small little mezzanine for storage and future offices.
Okay, but that would have to come back before the
Right.
building,
Currently,
not to us because it's internal, but would have to come back through the building department, et
Correct,
cetera, to see if that
like I said,
change
we're
is
still
made.
working on drawings, so we haven't really finalized everything quite yet.
Okay. Then I have no more questions at this point, so let's go through I believe the design guidelines. And what I'd like to do with the board, if it's all right, is that we'll just call these out by starting with site design guidelines, A1 pedestrian access and connectivity. Do you have any comments on any of the items in that section?
No.
Any comment here? Okay, how about A2, the outdoor amenity space? Are there any comments?
No.
Tracy? Peter? A3, bicycle amenities?
Taken care of.
A4, public art?
Can you just explain how the art is being incorporated into the bike rack?
We're contracting with a company that's going to provide bike racks that are public art. So we don't have that design finalized yet, but they will not be the standard bike rack with just a twirl
Just a
or
little loop or
they're,
whatever,
they're
yeah.
gonna, there's companies that design those to be attractive. We're going to tie it into the building. So that's our plan.
Cool, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. Okay, A5, site landscaping. Are there any comments on those?
No.
Peter?
No comments.
No comments. A6, sustainable features. Any comments?
No.
No.
Okay, A7, residential transitions. Are there any comments there?
Yes. On the concrete wall, I'd like to see some brick included in that, break it up further than just a concrete pattern. Oh, I'd like to see brick added to the wall at the back of the building, so that it's not just concrete. The parking. Yes.
Excuse me, Pete, which guideline would that recommendation go to?
Residential transitions, wall fence, would that be
Okay, 7B.
7? I believe it's 7B. I'm not looking at the same form you're looking at, but yeah.
Okay,
I'm good.
any other comments on this? Okay, B1, the facade. Are there any comments or questions?
No.
No comments.
No? Okay, B2, entryways.
No comments.
No comments.
Okay, B3, windows.
Are the windows, I know you said that the screening isn't going to be provided by you guys, it's what the tenant is providing. Is it still going to look like it's lit on the second floor
Yes.
with that screening? Okay.
Would that be turned into a recommendation?
I would recommend that that's definite, but
What's the recommendation? Just so I understand it.
I'm trying to,
I think you guys are covering it, as long as that second floor doesn't look black.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're covering that. Yes.
Okay, roof and architectural details.
I'm still not a fan of the metals mansard, but I'll live with it.
It's a curved roof. I don't know if you saw by it's got a curve to it.
Mhm.
It's not straight. So our feeling is that it's going to work much better is in this material.
Tracy?
I'm good.
We're going through, we're on B now. I have no comments on the roof.
Okay, B5, street level interest. Any comments?
No comment.
Okay, B6, sustainable building features.
No comment.
No comments.
B7, building materials. Could we get that sample up here? Please? Thank you. Okay, are there any comments? Comments at this point?
Can I get a clarification for B7D, which is the use of that material? The guideline specifically says the planning board can or may consider it an acceptable material. Is that your recommendation, that the planning board do that? Consider this an acceptable material?
I feel it is. You guys in agreement on that? Yes.
I think the-
Everybody in agreement?
I think the material is fine. It all depends on what you use to paint it with and how you prep the surface, that it will last.
And we maintain our buildings. I mean, you're familiar with what we do. It's going to have the same look as wood when we get done with it. It's just we want something that's not going to wear and delaminate, which is what wood's going to do against the concrete. So we will make sure that it looks just the way it shows on the elevation.
Perfect.
Okay, everybody's in favor of that.
Mhm.
C1, open space.
No comment.
No comment.
I don't have anything to add.
Okay. C2, sidewalk.
No comment.
No comments.
No comments.
C3, curb zone.
No comments.
No comment.
Okay, I guess that's, Gary, that's it, right?
Would you like a summary of what we have as recommendations?
Yeah.
A4, public art, A4A. We'll make a note that it's recommended that the bike racks be designed as public art. That'd be a recommendation. Next one would be A7, residential transitions, A7B, to add brick to the rear wall of the parking structure.
Rear, I would say rear and sides, the visible sides.
Rear and sides. And that's A7B. And then for B3 windows, that the transparency be maintained, and if there's a tenant change to the windows, that the transparency be maintained even if screened in the future.
I think it was lit, right? Was it? Didn't you not want them dark? I don't know if that's,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the right,
We want them to look lit.
you just didn't want them dark. Which we addressed in the drawings.
And that'd be under B3. And under building materials, B7D, that the proposed materials, it's the ATEC, AZEC, be considered an acceptable material by the planning board.
If maintained. If maintained properly.
As maintained properly. And those are all of the recommendations that I heard from the board.
Okay, thank you. I think that with that, I'd like to thank you for the presentation. It's been a long process getting through to here. But at this point, I'll move that this hearing be closed. All those in favor?
Don't we have another applicant?
It's not a hearing. Someone needs to make a motion.
Okay, accept the motion to accept the
Recommendations?
recommendations as presented. Yeah,
I'll make a motion to finalize the recommendations.
I'll second that.
okay. All those in favor, say aye.
I should do a roll call. Pete, you seconded, right? Did you second? Okay. All right, roll call. Duncan Black,
Oh, yes.
Marissa Colucci,
Yes.
Tracy Konheiser-Rui,
Yes.
Jonathan O'Rourke is not here, Pete Talty.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, yes, you can have that back. All right,
Okay. Okay, we'll have, open the next hearing. It's not a hearing.
Next item.
The next item is a petition from Zubin Builders, 5110 Main Street, Suite 220, for design review for site plan for proposed two-story building addition, the property located at 4357 and 4367 Harlem Road. And for your information, Tracy has recused herself from this hearing. So has stepped out of the room and return afterwards. Thank you. If you'd like to start your presentation.
Good evening, board members. My name is Mike Berger, Sutton Architecture, 5409 Main Street in Williamsville. Here representing the project here on Harlem Road. We are looking to do a two-story addition to an existing law office for an expansion of office space. And we are looking to do it in a way that's very complementary to the existing building with a use of materials that would match the existing building, with the exception of a connective element between the two structures that would be in contrasting material, mostly glass and stone, to separate the two materials. I do have samples of the stone and the siding here that I can share, but really just looking for commentary and feedback.
Okay. Comments. Peter, do you have any on this one?
Yeah, one small thing regarding the benches on the side there. The benches were not intended to replace any kind of public art, but that was a spot that I suggested would be a good spot to include some kind of public art. So in addition to the benches, if there was something happening there, that would be nice. That's about the only comment I have. Everything else I think we had already talked about and it's been addressed.
Okay. Marissa?
Sorry, distracted by this little nugget. No, I don't have any comments or questions at this time.
Okay. Well, I see somebody that has some comments, yes. Okay, I have a couple that I'd like to ask. Why did you change the roof configuration?
Hi, I'm Howard Zubin, Zubin Builders. We introduced each other last time. The change was made after we came back and looked at the plan again, and the partners in the law office just thought it was kind of plain looking with the flat roof up there. So they said, why aren't we, why don't we try to match the front roof line to make it look, I think, more architecturally appealing. So we had Sutton's office draw us up the rendition with that included, and just thought it just brought a better feel to the back addition, so it didn't look so plain back there with the flat roof.
Okay, before you leave, I have a follow-up question to that. Is there any reason you just didn't make it one continuous roof?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Is there any reason you didn't make it a continuous roof, just one roof over both facilities?
I think we still wanted to maintain the concept and idea that this is an addition to a building and not, if we were to carry the main roof through, I'm not even sure how that would work with that connective element, and it may make that connective element look out of place at that point. And we're really trying to emphasize that this is two separate, structures, and not trying to just make one big rectangle, basically.
Okay, thank you. Okay, then I guess there's no more comments at this point from the board. We'll go through the analysis of the site guidelines. So starting with A1, pedestrian access and connectivity. Are there any comments?
I don't have any comments.
No comments.
No comments. Okay, A2, outdoor amenity space.
No
Just the
comment.
inclusion of some kind of public art at the benches area. It's about the only. Oh, the inclusion of some kind of public art at the public benches area. I don't know if that's here or that's actually down below. Never mind.
Okay,
Oh, it's more explicit at 4A, so
okay,
then I'll be quiet about it for the moment. No comments.
no comments. You didn't have any. Okay, A3, bicycle amenities.
No comment.
No comments.
No. Okay, A4, public art.
Yes, some public art by the benches.
Marissa, any other comments on it? Okay.
No.
A5, site landscaping.
No comment.
Nothing to add. No comments.
A6, sustainable features.
No comment.
No comments.
A7, residential transitions.
No comment.
No comments.
B1, facade.
No comment.
No, I like the changes that were made. I don't have anything
Okay, good.
to object.
the staff comments on the building portion as they review the guidelines? Or have you, if you've reviewed them already, that's fine.
I couldn't hear you, I'm sorry.
Sorry. Would the board like to also look at the previous pages with staff comments on the B building guidelines? As you look through the guideline checklist.
If we said yes, where would be looking?
It's, if you've already, go back a few pages. There's a letter dated August 28th from town staff to the petitioner that you may find worth looking at. 2.3?
My orange book.
Comments that are struck out are from last month, or last meeting, excuse me.
Right.
And, I'm sorry, last month, we canceled that meeting, and the new comments are in bold.
Okay. Proposed addition appears to complement an original structure in terms of style, clarification on materials at lowest point of connector. Masonry versus brick should be clarified. Yes. Can we look at the elevation? Can we see the elevation? What is the, is that,
So it's a stone.
oh, okay. Any objections to stone?
The stone's just at the glass, right? The stone is just at the glass, isn't it? Yeah, I don't have an
It's
objection.
just a ledge, yeah, just a low, yeah.
I don't have objection to that. I think the stone would be nice. One thing I'm going to assume, this elevation here shows the windows and eaves all being at very similar heights. The rendering showed them as being dissimilar, but I am guessing that's the less accurate representation of
Yeah,
height.
the line drawings are more accurate in
That one
terms of
there.
heights. Yeah, that, I think because we tried to use a photo to put it in context, I think it's just trying to line it up the right way. It's just making it look off a little bit, but yeah, it's intended, the floor plates are intended to match. The eave line would match.
The roof slope, is the roof, that appears to be different, but I'm getting, on the drawn elevation, it appears you're matching the roof slope. When I look at that.
Yes.
And there was a question on the third floor mansard area. Is that occupiable? Is that through a hatch? How
So
is
no,
that accessed? What's the plan
Because
for
of the
that?
nature, so the existing stairs in the original building are what we're going to be using to access the first or the second floor of the building. So the only way to get to that upper level would be, it'd be like an attic access panel to
Okay.
get up there.
Okay.
So are the windows up there just like blacked out, like a,
I mean, it would be an attic space.
Okay.
There would be no like stairway to it. It would be like a pull down attic access stairwell to
okay,
get up in there. So it would be for storage.
Right. It's not habitable
It's not
space.
a habitable space, I
Right.
guess, yes. That's the-
I
that's the
think
issue.
the concern here is that if you did want to make that an habitable space, then that would require additional permit changes. And I'm sure you're aware of that.
Correct, and it would require a pretty massive change to the
Yes.
structure of the building.
Maybe a couple stairways and.
Adding some stairs, things like that, yeah, so. No, it's really meant for attic storage, and it would just be an attic access only, storage access only.
Okay. And so there's no drive it left, EFS left in the building. That's how we change the
Correct.
spandrel glass.
Correct. Yeah, 5-pound trim around the windows and a AZAC trim on the cornice line there.
Okay.
Can-
And
can
so
we-
what's the lowest that the AZAC would be? I'm guessing either 5-pound or AZAC above the windows and then not any lower?
Correct.
Are there any questions about are the windows on the third floor attic transparent?
I think that's what I was trying to ask. So the third floor windows, are those blacked out? Like, are there gonna be blinds on those? Is it a painted glass? Like, we're not gonna be able to see in through those windows, correct? Those dormer, they'll be blacked out. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, decorative in nature would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have any additional comments, unless there was something else that I missed that I should stir.
No, okay, so that was. One that we just.
We were on B1, I think.
B1, yeah, okay. B1 facade, any comments here? Recommendations?
No.
No additional comments?
Entryways, B2,
The existing door, I mean, this here is the accessible entrance. The door, the existing door coming in, is it a half light or is that a full light on that door? I know we don't have a picture of it, it's not really part of the project, but the existing.
On the existing door?
Yeah.
I'm not sure I know.
it's on the
front- the
front of
front
the
door?
building.
Front door is a double wood door right now.
Okay, is it fully opaque or is it? Okay. I think it's existing. We don't really,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, B3 windows, any comments?
Just to be clear, there's no recommendation about the attic windows being blacked out. They can stay.
It sounds like that's how they're providing it, and I think that's preferred for us.
I'm sorry, Marcia, what did you say?
It sounds like they're providing them as blacked out windows, and I think that's how we prefer it anyway, so.
Okay, B4 roofs and architectural details.
I like the changes.
No comments.
Okay. B5 street level interest.
No comments.
No comment.
B6 sustainable building features.
No comment.
Peter?
No comment.
B7 building materials.
No comment.
No comment.
Is your recommendation that the AZAC be recommended to the planning board as an acceptable material?
Yes.
Okay, C1 open space. Any comments?
No comments.
No comments.
C2 sidewalk.
No comment.
No comments.
Okay, C3 curb zone.
No comment.
No comments.
Okay. I guess that,
Before you make a recommendation, would you like to hear a summary of what we heard as the
Yes,
draft
please.
recommendations? Comment in A2 under outdoor amenity space, that public art be included up by the benches. And it's essentially the same comment under A4 for public art, where none for bicycle amenities or pedestrian access. We have a question about the wall or fence material at the southern end by the residential area. The guideline is wall use and fence materials that can be maintained as long as the principal building. And then the second guide under A7C, use colors that match or complement the building. Would the recommendation be, so they're proposing a wooden fence, is that acceptable? And would the recommendation be that it be the same color as the building? Which is where the guideline is going. But it's not stated there in the applicant's proposal. Wood fence, should it be painted to match the building, which is what the guideline is steering you towards?
What are your intentions on that?
We would, yeah, paint it to match the building.
Paint it or stain it, like that's type of stain color, color to match, but if you paint it, then we will be painting it every 2 years.
Right.
So I'd rather, use some type of a stain material, so at least, it'll last 5 years. I'm just worried about painting a fence for the winter weather.
So your recommendation would, under A7B and A7C, would be a wood fence to be stained to match the building?
Well, the building's not stained, so it would have to be.
No,
Just call
stained
it
a
be
color,
finished-
stained in
finished-
color that would complement
Finished
the
in a
building.
color, yeah.
For the, for the.
I don't have a strong opinion on it, but how do you feel? Right. Yeah,
I'm honestly okay with the fence just looking like wood. Yeah, I'm just nervous even staining it, definitely not painting it, but even staining it for it to look kind of worn, yeah, sooner. Yeah, yeah.
If I could read the entire guideline, use colors that match or complement the principal building or are subdued and blend in with the natural environment. It's up to you. I just wanted to make sure that we touched on the color.
stain would be more natural. If you were to switch to a vinyl fence that had white columns and horizontals and gray in between, that would be matching the colors. That's raising the cost. The stain's more natural.
Or
I'm
just
good with
leave it,
just a wood
just leave it
fence.
wood.
I'm
Yeah.
okay with it, yeah.
Because I think that'll coordinate just fine with the stone that's picked and what's
agree.
going on in that part of the neighborhood anyways.
Does it say we have to use wood, a wood product, or it could be more of a maintenance street?
I think it can be what you want it to be.
But they're saying wood.
I think wood is what would.
Did we say wood?
No, it doesn't say.
The standard A7B, the standard to use wall and fence materials that can be maintained to last as long as the principal building. So there's a difference between a vinyl fence and a wood fence.
I don't have,
Tree where you never has to do anything to it. And it looks like new every, over the years, so. My preference would be to put a vinyl or maintenance free product on it.
Okay.
I'm okay with that if you're okay with it. You're okay with it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's more expensive, but
It is, but there's less maintenance with it, and use colors that are sympathetic to what you're doing on the building.
we also have the white trim all over the building too with the gray, so
Yeah,
the white might look nice.
might look like a combination of white and gray together.
Did you decipher that?
So that,
Yes.
I think our recommendation is,
A
recommendation-
vinyl fence and color to complement the building.
Yeah. So I think we just have to make a motion to close this item,
are we at the end of the list?
right? I think we're done with the list.
Were there any additional comments that were, was that our entire list?
We're recapping the recommendations.
Standard, or guideline, excuse me, guideline B7F, that the AZAC is an acceptable material.
Yes.
That's all the recommendations I caught.
Okay. That includes everything I think I said.
motion to close the hearing?
Motion to close the hearing.
Motion to close the item.
You,
Yeah.
I was thinking, looking at this picture, when we talk about blacking out those windows, that it might look like a vacant space up there if we do that. So would it be okay if I matched the shades that are in the front windows right now on the third floor?
Actually, that would probably be preferable.
I thought it would look better than just black.
I'm in agreement with you on that. Yeah. Yeah, blacking them out might look odd.
I second instead of motion.
Oh.
so Pete, are you saying that you approve with these recommendations?
Yes, with the one change that was just talked about.
That was just discussed, and then you're seconding.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. All right. Duncan Black,
Yes.
Marissa Calucci,
Yes.
Tracy Konheiser has recused herself, Jonathan O'Rourke is not present, and Pete Talty.
Yes.
Okay, I guess motion to close?
We don't have anything else for the agenda.
Okay.
I will make a motion to close.
Do we need to vote on or make comment on the last set of meeting notes or something like that? Or are there any additional, or we're
We
just
did
closing this
earlier.
portion?
That was at the start.
That was the first thing on our agenda.
Okay, then I'll second the motion.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. We're closed.